Before we dive into this story, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Now, let's get into it. My name is Claire, I'm 32 years old, and this is the story of how my husband, Ryan, broke me in ways I never thought possible. After I made the worst mistake of my life. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Yes, I cheated. I take full responsibility for that. I carry the shame, the guilt, all of it. But what Ryan did afterward, that wasn't forgiveness, and it wasn't healing. It was punishment. Cold, calculated punishment. Ryan was 29, working a draining corporate job he hated. One that left him exhausted and on autopilot every single day. He'd walk through the door at exactly 6:30 p.m., eat the dinner I'd prepared by 7 o'clock, sit in front of the TV until 10, and then head to bed, rinse and repeat. Our life had turned into a routine that felt more like survival than love. I wasn't proud of it, but I grew restless. I felt invisible, like I was nothing more than a housemaid or a background character in his life. And then came Daniel. He worked in the office tower next to mine. At first, it was harmless quick chats while waiting for coffee, sarcastic jokes about deadlines, light-hearted banter. But slowly, the conversations deepened. He asked questions Ryan hadn't asked me in years. He laughed at things I said. He looked at me as if I mattered. And that attention became intoxicating. One thing led to another, and before I could even process how wrong it was, I was in an affair that lasted for months. For the first time in a long time, I felt alive again, like a woman who was wanted, not just tolerated. But beneath that temporary thrill was unbearable guilt. I ended it with Daniel because I couldn't keep lying. I couldn't keep betraying the man I had promised to love. When I confessed to Ryan, I braced myself for rage, shouting, maybe even seeing my clothes tossed out onto the lawn. But what I got instead was silence. He sat there staring at the floor, asking questions in a steady, hollow voice. How long? Did you love him? Where did it happen? I answered truthfully, every detail. And then Ryan did something that shocked me. He said he wanted to work on our marriage. He told me this might be our lowest point, but we could face it together. I felt such a flood of relief I could barely breathe. I suggested counseling. I swore I would prove myself. I became the perfect wife. I cooked his favorite meals, wrote him love notes, bought new lingerie, left sweet surprises in his car, his lunchbox, even on his bathroom mirror. I worked tirelessly to show him how sorry I was. But Ryan, he treated me like I was an assistant performing tasks, not his wife. He smiled politely, said thank you, but there was no warmth behind it. When I put on the lingerie, his response was flat. You look nice, the way you might compliment a coworker's new blazer. There was no fire, no passion, no intimacy. It was like living with a ghost, desperate. I even told him if it would help, he could see someone else too, even the scales. I thought maybe it would make things less one-sided. He didn't answer then. But weeks later, when he started coming home later and later, sometimes not at all, I confronted him. Calmly, almost smugly, he told me he'd been talking to someone from work. It's not physical, he said. We're just connecting, getting to know each other. And as he said that, I swore I could hear glasses clinking and a woman's laugh in the background. My heart sank. He reminded me I had given him permission. I was spiraling, paranoid, jealous, tortured, until one day, the truth came out that there was no other woman. He had fabricated it all. The phone calls, the late nights, the fake text messages, even the over-the-top laugh I recognized, because it was the same one I had once used with Daniel. He admitted it was all a performance, designed to make me feel exactly what he had felt when I betrayed him. He wanted me to live in that pain, in that uncertainty. It wasn't about fixing us. It was about punishing me, and it worked. I broke down piece by piece, clinging to hope, begging him for counseling, pleading with him not to leave me. But he stayed distant, calculated. Then, once I was hollowed out enough, he left, just like that. He had already secured a new apartment. 3 days later, he moved out quietly, efficiently, like our 5 years of marriage were just an item checked off his to-do list. 2 weeks after that, I was served with divorce papers, clean, cold, without drama. Irreconcilable differences, that was it. No long explanation, no fight, just paperwork. He spared my reputation, even let me keep the house. Outwardly, it looked civil, but inside, I was destroyed. Because what he had done wasn't forgiveness, it was psychological warfare. A slow, burning punishment to make sure I never forgot my mistake. And yet, something shifted. After the dust settled, after the tears dried, I realized I had been holding on to someone who never truly forgave me, who maybe never truly loved me in the first place. Ryan's pride wouldn't allow forgiveness. He wanted retribution, not reconciliation. And I've had to accept that. I'm not proud of what I did with Daniel. It was wrong, and I own that. But I also know that one mistake doesn't make me unworthy of love. I've forgiven myself. I've learned I deserve grace, kindness, and a partner who sees me as more than a mistake to punish. If Ryan is out there now, building something new with someone else, I genuinely hope he's learned that real love takes work, forgiveness, and vulnerability, not just pride and revenge. But I'm not waiting around for him to figure that out. My chapter with him is over. I'm free now, free from his silence, free from the cycle of guilt and punishment, free to rebuild. And this time, I'll make sure the love I find is the kind that heals instead of destroys.